Alright guys, welcome back to the LPL playoffs. We are currently getting ready to go into game number 3. LGD versus Edward Gaming, who have taken themselves 2-game advantage. LGD now sits on the precipice of falling into the loser's bracket, and there is the man responsible for much of it, Clear Love, with the MVP pickup on Evelyn last time.
He actually has a lot of MVP for
he was the MVP
points.
of the summer.
Yeah, and it's funny because we give him such a hard time, but again, it's just we know that you can we know that you can achieve this Clear Love if you just set your mind to it. Again, it was always kind of a question versus LGD and EDG, which jungler was going to show up. Was it going to be, you know, the classic Clear Love of applying that map pressure and being able to gank and finding these superior team fights, or was it going to be the no gank, no pressure, no win Clear Love that takes EDG down with it?
Well, I think it's pretty clear which one has shown up today. And on the other side of the jungle, yes, I tried to skid over it as quickly as I could. Chuen has been very ineffective both times on his favorite pickup, and it speaks volumes about the weakness of this lineup relative to Edward Gaming. Now, LGD have to come up with something quick, because if they do lose, they will drop into a loser's bracket. They will have to face the loser of OMG or Starhorn Royal Club, which is a daunting enough task in and of itself. And even if they somehow make it through the gauntlet all the way back up to the loser's bracket finals, in the very final match of the playoffs, it will be another best of 5 against whoever has made it all the way through without losing, and they will have a one-game advantage to start.
Yeah, it's a very daunting task right now for LGD. We'll see if this affects them playing from the back foot.
They have had
back to back, they've looked at the Lysandra pick. We'll see if that's kind of the third time's the charm for Wayless. Again, picks and bans. EDG this time around on the blue side.
Yep, they do take away the Ziggs now. And again, you can't let you have this champion. You just can't do it.
Curious that EDG chose to take away Kale this time around. They do get first pick. Please pick Sion.
Please pick Sion. I wouldn't even be mad. No, it's the Zilean lock-in very quick. I think they're favoring that style of comp, and they won't have Kale to choose from this time, nor will they have Orianna. But they're 2-0 up. They can afford to do interesting things.
See if he goes through without a Kali.
Or Hecarim. They gotta find some answer in the jungle. Chuen actually, yeah, he's gonna get the Jarvan lock-in. And this is the other champion he's had some success on. I think that's a good choice, as well as PYL's Thresh.
The Lantern Jarvan ganks are pretty real with that synergy. And speaking of synergy, I did want to touch a little bit on the Zilean pickup and kind of what it means for LPL teams. Again, we talk about how EDG recognizing as soon as he was level 6 had that Chrono Shift available, it was time to look for a tower dive. And what do Chinese teams love to do? They love to move really fast, because it's all about, you know, flanking, engaging, disengaging, finding these crazy team fights, running across the map so they can get involved with something, and they love to tower dive. And that champion helps them out with both.
Clear Love's going to get his Evelyn pickup once again. And speaking of a champion that lets them tower dive and go really fast, it's going to be Name once again on the Corki choice. Kassadin might be picked up here. This could be like the ace in the hole, the Hail Mary for LGD. Wayless is definitely a carry mid laner, as well as actually on Kog'Maw. That might be an interesting choice, actually, if it does go through. Nope, it's Lucian. Looks like we will see that instead. And we'll have to see how this goes going forward. And right now, with the last pickups here, I don't know if... Well, they definitely won't go with the Skarner pickup, but FCZF has played a lot of Braum in the past. And I think that it's kind of a general safe choice, giving you, once again, that reign of the mid lane on Zilean. Oh, and this is interesting. Koro, he's going to go back to the Aurelia pickup. That's an interesting choice. Alright, guys, I've also had some word really quickly that there's a few technical issues on Frostgren's end, so we will continue to try and get that resolved, but for the time being, I'll take over solo for just a minute. Everything's finished up. We have a Zed pickup for 17. This is a very interesting choice, a very different style composition than what we were used to seeing before. A lot of hard carries, a lot of strong individual playmaking, but it's definitely the Hail Mary toss from LGD right now. Yep, and it's up. Looks like that is time, and we'll be getting ready to get into the game. So that I'm interested to see how this goes. Koro will get late game scary, but so will 17 this time. And, well, Frost, what do you think about all this?
Hello.
Ah, hi, welcome back.
Nice
You
to
left
be back.
me. I was scared.
You're all alone, left in
I need an
this
adult.
best of series.
Yeah. Third
Well,
match on the line.
We ended up with a Cassidy top and a Zed mid.
Yeah, that's always interesting.
I thought he would fall back to Zed since Yasuo wasn't available and Lissandra wasn't working out. The issue, though, is, of course, if you're ulting someone as Zed, particularly your lane opponent, and he has a chrono shift, he's just going to laugh away from that one. But we'll see if Wayless is able to get involved and use his ultimate not necessarily on his lane partner, but on his surrounding enemies.
Yeah, this is, like I mentioned, this is like their Hail Mary. This is the last chance to show this one up, and we have seen Caston Top make some play, especially on World Elite. It came up in our last series against Edward Gaming, but they clearly knew how to deal with it. We'll see how this does go down as we get onto the Rift, which may be the final time for LGD in this playoff winners bracket.
Again, the win conditions for LGD this time around are to get involved with each other. You have a very high mobility-based composition right now, particularly in your solo lanes. Zed has amazing gank potential. Of course, anytime Caspin's in a game, he has amazing gank potential. If they continue just to allow EDG to play the passive lane phase into their incredible dominating teamfight performance, nothing's going to change. So they need to switch gears and they need to switch mentalities playing from the back foot here.
It certainly looks like they are going to, though. They put Wayless on a champion that he's not only comfortable with, but can get into that carry position. Because clearly they're not able to rely on much else in the early game, and they have to come up with big plays. Not to mention, they have a bit of late game insurance policy. They have a Kassadin.
See if he goes the Iceborne Gauntlet build, or if he's going to go more of a traditional Kassadin. I expect to see the Glacial Shroud come out since his lane opponent is Aurelia. Doesn't look like it's going to be a lane swap, although we do see that Koro is actually looking for it.
Isn't sure if he wants to put the carry pants on today. The 2v1 in this situation would probably favor Name and FCZF.
And you actually see, well, they don't want to lane swap it. That's why Koro was waiting in there, and you actually saw as soon as they moved onto the ward, that's when Koro started to move from the base, so they were making sure that they get this 2v2.
Okay, so they do want it, and it does speak a lot about Name's capability to take this. I mean, Lucian, again, has been a champion that's been inexplicably popular throughout the rise of your more hyper-carry-centric champions. XQ, though, let's see what he makes of it.
Yeah, we did finally find another win on Lucian, so he's 2-9 right now since the patch changes.
And both these laners have one on him.
Exactly. This is a poke lane, especially when Corki gets that level 6. But for right now, it's mostly poke through Braum, but it's going to be pretty real. Typically, how you deal with this lane is you actually pick up a sustain, like a Nami. Of course, though, PYL, picking up that Thresh in the first pick, didn't get a chance to make the counter pick. See how they deal with it.
Yeah, with the pause coming in right now, we have a couple of LAN issues, of course, but this does give a little bit of chance to kind of take a step back and think, what are the win conditions for LGD here? We already have identified the clear early aggression needs to happen, but barring them not coming up with an even or a head mid-game, what do they need to do from there?
So you're saying that if they just blunder the early and mid game,
yeah,
what
let's
happens?
Let's say they come up with a deficit because they've given up dragons, they've given up kills, they've given up towers. What do they have to do to get back into it? They do have a decent scaling comp, but what can they do in that case?
Well, as far as how their team fight's supposed to work, obviously you want your assassin to take out a high priority damage target. The issue being that you're competing against the chrono shift. So Zed, as far as his team fight presence, I would expect that when it comes to the 5v5, we're actually going to see Wayless either try to make picks on his own or utilize his strength as a split pusher.
Oh man,
getting taken very low.
That was a muscle move right there to force Name back, and could have, on a lesser ADC, would have resulted in first blood, but not Name.
Yeah, nice Valkyrie right there.
Yeah, it was well timed. The sidestep, blue suede shoes, and now Chuen is looking to make a move on this mid lane. Can he do it, though? Yu is being safe enough. Oh, he sees it. Oh, he sees it from a mile away.
Just gonna speed his way out of there. He should be very safe in that mid lane. It's hard to gank Zillion.
For a guy with a clock on his back, an old guy, you know?
You're competing with the speed and you're competing with the chrono shift when he does get that level 6. So he should be, you know, relatively safe in that lane. And again, we talk about how Wayless can't really do anything against him or kill him. It's effectively kind of like picking Zed into a Lulu. But it's just about, can he clear out these lanes fast enough and get involved on other sides of the map.
One thing that has been consistent about LGD through the series is they have been farming better in the mid lane in particular, and a lot of that is just way less going crazy with his Spectral Wraith build. Now, that is no longer an option.
The issue with the Spectral Wraith build, and Lysandre, yeah, he's been out farming his lane opponent, but he hasn't been translating that strength. We're actually going to chase 17 down.
Wow. Blade Surge will come up in just a couple seconds, but I feel like we've seen this before. Chase him all the way out of lane, but not enough damage, and PWL gets his hook wide to the right. Down on the bottom.
Back to the Spectral Wraith is that Wayless, you know, typically he's a very roam-heavy assassin type player. You know, has that stint of Orianna, but it's very much, you know, about the Ahri getting involved around the map and going to hero. He sacrificed his pressure for that farming playstyle, and it's
here's your lantern gank right now. That's happening, but they avoid it perfectly. 17 having to burn flash to get away. Again, Edward Gaming not allowing those openings, denying every gank attempt. Clear Love is here. Name is low. But we've seen this before. Time and time again, they get out by the skin of their teeth.
They did get the flash from FCZF, so not a total wash right there. Likewise, they didn't burn any summoners in exchange. Actually really curious that 17 didn't choose to back when the wave was pushed away from him. He actually stepped backwards, popped his flask. Though he has tier. Oh, okay, now, he just burnt teleport. I was like, I just saw him a second ago.
Yeah, he had to back it. He's having a hard time dealing with Koro. The farm is huge, although he's been given a lot of it right now. Meanwhile, in the mid, Chuen once again trying to make a play. He has had no luck in the gank, and LGD, they want to make those early plays, but they're not being given the opportunity. EDG has identified that win condition and is determined to not allow it.
Again, as far as Chuen's win conditions and win percentage for Jarvan, it's incredibly low. He only has a 33% win rate on that champion. I believe he's played it 9 times.
Pretty much every time he's not on Lee Sin, he's on Jarvan. That's the long short of it.
It's effectively Jarvan, Lee Sin, and you throw in a couple of Lease games there.
Well, considering how easy it is to ban him out too, the fact that they didn't even try also speaks a lot to how much regard, or how little regard rather, EDG has for the jungle presence on LGD.
Frankly, he hasn't really, like you said, been that jungle presence. He hasn't been the carry for LGD. It's about the roam that Wayless provides, and he kind of shot himself in the foot by changing up his playstyle and not giving that roam to his teammates. We'll see if that changes up this time, but I cannot emphasize this enough. LGD, they have to change their playstyle, because right now they're doing exactly what EDG want.
Once again, this is 3 for 3 so far. Now 17 getting baited into Clear Love and Koro. He could go down here. He's not got Rift Walk, and that's going to be first blood going over once again to Clear Love. Meanwhile, the bot lane's starting to heat up a little bit. Name getting away with a nicely timed Valkyrie. Likewise, XQ taking the best friend Express.
And this is the same gank that we saw previously from Clear Love when he ganked the support PYL Zillion in the top lane pre-Chrono. The fact that he's recognizing when does this guy get his safety or his safety net, and how can I abuse that, finds the gank right before it. So understanding when he needs to apply the pressure. This is the Clear Love that we wanted to see.
Yeah, he's shown up in a big way. Now Name is going to get hooked on a line. PYL trying to force the issue. He's going low though, and XQ gets exhausted. Name says, let's turn this fight around. But XQ is going to make a duel of it. That is going to end with no kill, just so yet. But the blue buff might get taken out. Wayless finding you in the back here, but Chrono is available. They're going to take the fight to him. Wayless with the death mark. Can he get a kill? I don't think so. Oh my goodness, the Chrono comes up just in time, and Wayless is going down. Chuen now, that's going to be 1 pickup, 2 pickups. Clear Love, XQ in the right place for the double kill, and the reverse collapse goes in LGD's favor to even the game up just a little bit.
Huge issue that Name and FCZF weren't able to control their bot lane, lack of communication, but okay, 17's gonna rift walk away. The fact that Clearlove and you are making such an aggressive play, and that their bot lane just wasn't on the same page, very big misstep from EDG.
Yeah, very weird when you consider the synergy that Clearlove and FCZF should have, being the primary and secondary shot callers for the team. Uncharacteristic. I think they got a little cocky there.
I wish I could have moved the screen around again, being on tournament client versus casting over a stream. I would have liked to see if, you know,
wait until we're doing that, aren't you?
I know, right? I wanted to see if PYL kind of stiff-armed them out of that, or what the excuse was going there, because that was a huge. I mean, all of their momentum that they had effectively built up erased.
Well, and what did they get out of that, too? You had to think. They got one kill picked onto way less, but they gave up so much more. You're right. And as much of a blunder that was by EDG, that was also a really nice read from LGD to answer back, and they have the confidence back to make moves now. We got a game on our hands.
Hopefully it stays that way. LGD, their strength has always been in the reactionary play.
And they're on a ward.
Well, the reactionary, I guess I should say reactionary strategic play. They're very good at finding the answers there. It's not so much kind of the disengage, re-engage of the team fight that's been working out so well for them. Speaking of disengage, re-engage, 17 is not having the best time of his life in this top lane.
No, he certainly isn't. Koro also, we haven't talked about him as much, but he's shown up in a big way. He's been putting on his carry pants more often than not lately, and that has really helped EDG into the form that they're finding themselves in. Traditionally, Koro was that top laner that, you know, you couldn't count on to win lane. He would lose lane. He wouldn't always finish items. He'd have trouble, and then he'd show up for the fight. He'd create a lot of map pressure, but now it's a brand new LPL. It's a brand new Koro.
The one continuously evolving thing on EDG has been Koro's performance. You are right about that, and we actually do see both junglers set up here for the counter and gank.
Yeah, Chuen's going to show first. Koro is low. He's in a little bit of trouble, but that's where Aurelia wants to be. Cataclysm coming in. Chuen has to back out of this one. He's just going to give a kill over to Koro, and 17 has no follow-up. 1 for none.
Something very unique about the Aurelia Cassidy matchup in the top lane. Although, hold on a second, because Name sees the jungler, which means he's going
XQ. That's a couple of big ones, forcing out the heal. That is going to be even more. They don't want to take the full dive in, and Name, realizing they might have pressed too far forward, has to Valk away from the calling as PYL comes back to lane. I leave you for 5 seconds, and look what happens, mister. 17 now, being chased out of his own top lane.
Oh, but here comes Wayless.
Yeah, this could be a good
this is
collapse.
the roam that we needed. They can't do anything.
Nah, it was a nice attempt.
And it's unfortunate, too, because he needed Cassidy as the slow. Speaking of slow.
PYL, he takes a lot of abuse. Gets his box down, but they don't even touch the edge. Name and FCZF are playing this out so well. And it's dead even otherwise. Then, oh my goodness, 17 getting dove on by Koro. One more pickup before we can even take a breath.
Illustrates perfectly the other point that I wanted to make with Aurelia in the Cassidy matchup. Her Blade Surge to counter and to keep up with his Rift Walk. The fact that Koro used it perfectly. He procced it first on a minion kill, and then he immediately procced it in because he got the reset on following the Rift Walk. And that's something very unique to Aurelia in that matchup. So that is very fun to see that work.
Okay, Name and FCZF have to be careful not to get baited into a Chuen gank, but they don't. I think they smelled something was up there. You could tell that they kind of changed their play a pace.
Especially because there's 0 wards on the map, guys.
Yeah, well, there's one. They have one pink in their own jungle, and then one in the enemy jungle. On
They've
the other
got
side
one
of
behind the try.
Yeah, that pink ward has been there forever, by the way.
But they know, because Clearlove's, wandering over for the counter gank. If he doesn't stick close to that wall, though, he is spotted out by the
He's going to run into you. Oh, boy. There's about to be some action. This dragon has been neglected most of this game. I feel like that's about to change.
LGD is at a disadvantage here. They have too many members that are low health.
Yeah, PYL has to back, and so does
XQ. To disengage from this.
Also, Koro has to teleport, so does 17, but he's about to be back to Fountain. Goodbye. Koro outshining.
The Rift Walk into the Blade Surge every single time.
And yeah, this dragon is pretty uncontestable right now, as LGD has no one in the area to interact with it at all. Way less doing the best he can just in lane, but Yu has been keeping him occupied. This is the game plan all along. Shut down the one member capable of making your lanes rough. And Yu has played that role perfectly.
Well, Zilean also fills a very unique role as far as the kind of the assassin AoE clear mage, because typically if you take Orianna, if you take Ziggs, and you pick the assassin, yes, the AoE mid will be able to shove the assassin in to stop the roam, but the counterplay there is that the assassin will just turn around and kill you. He can't do that with Zilean. It's literally the one AP AoE mage that he can't find that answer to, and so it's beautiful, and the fact that he actually picked Zed into this.
Yeah, I mean, he's very confident, but still, it might be his undoing now. Chuen, his undoing might be nigh. That is going to be another pickup. Clear Love taking tower shots, but he gets out just in time. And this mid lane will fall. Meanwhile, the bot lane falls. PYL and XQ looking to make a fight of it. The teleport comes on down, and they have to back away from this one. Valking immediately, and FCZF is going to burn his flash, but they get out without giving up a death.
But the communication from Name and FCZF had already started exiting there as soon as they saw the teleport, and Name saying, you know, I have Valkyrie, I'm fine, being able to recognize that situation, so Koro doesn't burn his teleport in return. He had it available, but he didn't move at all. So again, across the board communication from EDG to make the correct play, and they should get a free tower, or at least a lot of free damage on this top tower for
well,
it.
It's almost done anyways, and at this point, they've got themselves a clear lead. 1-to-1 towers, however, the gold tells a different story right now. It's only 14 minutes in, and EDG has taken just about every advantage, and they might find 17 again. Why does he go in on these 1v1s? Oh my goodness, that's a lot of damage. Still on the chase. Meanwhile, Clear Love going to find PYL. Name is low, playing a dangerous game, but so is XQ as he takes the lantern out to relative safety. Uh-oh, here comes you and Koro. That's going to be 1 bomb, 2 bombs, just a couple more hits is all it will take as the collapse gets completed, and XQ has nowhere to go. Way less trying with Chuen to get there in time, but they don't award points for close.
I love that.
That is a weird glitch.
Right now. I hope he stays like that.
He's like a zombie mode right now. The lance is pulling him.
Beautiful roam from you right there. See if LGD can make anything out of it. Looks like they will be able to get this mid-tier tower, so not all for naught, although FCZF is now there. Oh, wow. The support pushes both the assassin and the jungler completely off the tower.
Yes, and official game announcement unknown. That is kind of how you sum up that LGD performance right there. Yeah, that was really not really. Really not really. That's what it was. I'll just leave it at that.
Really not really?
Yeah, that's all it was. Now, Chuen, again, he has not had much of a map presence this game. Once again, Clear Love is showing up huge. It feels like a 5v4.
To be fair, Chuen, he has 100% kill participation right now for his team.
That's a low blow.
Like, numbers don't lie, sir.
No, it's true. You're technically correct, and that's the best kind of correct there is, but they're having some troubles.
Yeah, and unfortunately, again, it's almost like a slow procedural loss, the fact that I feel like they outpicked themselves. Again, the Zed completely countered by the Zilean, even though he technically had the counter pick available to him. Lucian is going to fall off in comparison to Corki the longer this game goes on. Aurelia, yeah, you have Kassadin, but frankly, Killer 17 is so deep in the hole right now, and I don't know if he'll ever be able to duel this. Koro's 4-0-1 right now.
You can tell they're
16
shaking.
minutes.
You can tell they're shaking. POL has not been able to land too many hooks this game, and they're just not confident in taking the fights that they do manage to get. They're down a significant margin of gold, and EDG is starting to take the offensive. This is even earlier than the last 2 games.
Comes down to Siege. Most important objective since Dragon is down is going to be that mid-tier tower because it grants the most passive vision control over the map.
And it's very low. They shouldn't have any problem one.
Oh, but here comes the flank from Koro.
Oh boy, way less. He's in. Yep. Nice shadow step. They're still gonna try to take this one. Oh my goodness. Chuen is low. The box is down. POL getting a hook on FCZF, but he's tanking the tower shot just fine. Cataclysm goes down. They're low. They're in a hole. However, they're still answering back with more damage, and they get themselves PYL and could nearly finish the tower up as soon as the next minion wave is in.
Almost got more right there. Didn't even expend the Zilean ultimate. I feel like
sad looking.
A little bit of a lack of communication. If one person had just focused the tower, or even 2 as they came into that.
I think that's a glitch.
There are so many issues with the spectator client right now. Just losing its mind. Remake.
Oh boy. Uh-oh. You. Took a couple tower shots, but he's fine. Yeah, that is... Yeah, that is a very sad minion. He's got no friends. No towers. No nothing.
He's got no wards either. FCZF just cleared it.
Yep. Vision has been very small this game. EDG is starting to get it back. You see the scattered wards around the outlets of the jungles and the rivers. LGD is struggling to keep up with it.
In comparison, yes, to the first 2 games in the set division, it is very different. But that said, they've been in lane a lot longer.
It's also very early too.
Well, yeah, but you also see them come back immediately. You know, now we have the Sight Stone. They pick up immediate 2 pink wards. We actually have 2 Sight Stones available and the 2 pink wards. Dragon coming up in 32 seconds. So now we can really judge their vision about how EDG is going to prep the Dragon area, which as they sweep into this.
Yeah, complete mechanized here. There is one over in the blue. They're going to try to get a little bit of zone on that one. Ooh, Clearlove might have gone too far here. He gets a lot of damage for himself, and FCZF was looking to turn that around, but way less waiting in the wings as well as PYL. They're going to try to take the fight to him. Chuen finds himself in a bad spot. He's going down. They've got no smite, and that is bad news for trying to take the Dragon. It's just about out.
Have a sneaky deep ward in the back of the wolf pit. I hope it was worth it, Chuen.
Is going to not at all chase on to Wayless. No, this is a 4-man dragon. This is an easy 4-man dragon as LGD is running scared.
And effectively, even though that 17 has the teleport available to him, and he could teleport to his team since Chuen is dead, it would still just be a 4v4. And frankly, this Kassadin doesn't really mean anything. He did finally complete his Roa, not quite on time that he wanted to. Unfortunately, I can't check the stats on his tier, so he did start kind of the ball rolling for his power spike, but it's going to be a very long time before Killer 17 really becomes that killer.
And they may not have that much time left, to be honest. It's only 19 minutes, but EDG, they're already going for the death brush here, and this is dangerous. Oh, Lantern check. Uh-oh, PYL got to get away as fast as he can. The box is there. They had to expend an ultimate, and he nearly goes down anyways. Yeah, but they're going to lose the tower up top.
And they should take the advantage that they have through the health bar. Scaring off.
Chuen is trying to be sneaky. Going in. I thought that was a glitch again. Oh, wow, there's Koro looking to make moves. His team can follow up anytime they want, and they force the objective once again. Little things here and there, they just slowly chip away at the base of LGD.
But on the bright spot, Wayless got his blue buff.
Yeah, that's something. I guess you have to have a silver lining.
Yeah, so he won't go anymore. Helps with the CDR.
Yeah. Isn't Wayless technically always
Nope, he won't go anymore.
Well, yes, but okay. I'm not gonna go with that one. It makes my brain hurt too much. Clearlove has been frontlining a lot of these fights as well. His kill participation is actually not as good as it has been in other games, but it's kind of hard to say like, oh, he's normally an A+ student and that was just an A. Wayless getting himself in a little bit of trouble, going back for the Lantern save. But speaking of someone who has had like crazy amount of kills in particular, Koro has stepped up huge. A lot of that were solo onto 17, but still.
There's been a lot of action this top lane. Koro has had a couple of nice teleports to his name. Chuen getting caught out.
Oh wow, Glacial Fissure just barely missing. And despite that, they're still able to throw their weight around quite easily.
Well, the issue is though is right here and right now they're not getting anything. So this is the EDG that we criticize all the time and reverting back and not having that forward progress. Effectively, they expended their Glacial Fissure and their chase and their time to farm the wolf camp. Does look like they're trying to get a push for the last standing second tier tower.
Chuen is going to get something out of this, or is he? I don't know. He's got a little help from Wayless, and that's Koro. Not quite going down. He's burning. He's got to heal. Staying alive. Wayless, he's in trouble. How did they save Koro's life? Name coming up with a kill, and they get something here, but they're more interested in following with even more. Clearlove in the back line. The rest of the team is there as well, and LGD running for their lives. Clearlove's low. He's still not down. Still keeping him alive. FCZF all the way in the front, and they once again come up with 3 picks, blinking health bars. It's like they don't even see towers. They're tower blind. Oh, 17. That was close.
The beautiful collapse from Yu right there to speed himself up. I think he even flashed towards Koro to make sure that he could get the chrono shift on him to save his life and to save that shutdown bonus. And with those pickups, they get the free second tier tower, which means it's just about that mid tower and breaking the inhibitor line.
Yep, and they've come up almost flawless in all of it so far. EDG doesn't lose a member in that crazy hectic engage. They pick off 3, they pick off a tower. It's hard to fault them when their results are just so clearly dynamically better than LGD.
Historically as well, EDG has done very well in best of series.
And against LGD as well. If I recall correctly, LGD in the 4 games they've played against Edward Gaming this split, they've only won 1.
I'd have to look back to the earlier weeks, but you know, they did split 1-1 on their most recent exchange with LGD.
Yeah, that was the one.
Kind of
I'm pretty sure they 0-2'd in their other one, in their earlier one.
And that was kind of the concerning thing that a lot of people were having issues with, is this team going into Worlds.
I didn't see Chuen for a minute. I thought he was way less.
Yeah, I think he keeps disappearing.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. Oh, he's going to zoom out there. Hello. Oh no. Oh no, that's a problem. Koro zones in on that and finds himself a kill on the jungler once again. It's a 5v4 for the moment. Name taking a few calling shots, but they're still going to be able to push this one. Yeah, they're definitely just taking the fight to find as many kills as they possibly can. And the towers do seem a little secondary. That's a bit troubling that that's their mentality. But again, you can't argue with results. They're coming up massive right now. And a huge gold swing. It's overwhelmingly in their favor, and there's very little ways they can lose at this point.
Well, knowing that they have the snowball and pressuring the correct objectives at the correct time is what I like to see from them.
No Barons
they don't need
the
Barons to win.
Exactly. They don't. They have such an advantage. It's stellar at this point. LGD can't even get out of their own base. That's going to be one inhibitor tower falling. The inhibitor should easily go down after this. They've got a wave pushing up top. They can go back and clear the bot. They have so many options. Frostgrin, I think this game might just about be over, all but for the crying. Can LGD answer back? They're trying to go in for the desperate attempt. That's the Glacial Fissure. They're getting knocked up. Chuan, he's in trouble. The Cataclysm, but he's down already, and LGD just barely trying to stay alive in all of this, but they're just too scared, and they have every reason to be. That's an easy Baron.
Actually, the death timers, because the game, it's only 24 minutes. Like, we keep assuming that it's, 30, 35 minutes into the game.
It looks like it now.
They will be able to burn through this very quickly. That said, I was just really shocked. Yeah, I was, expecting like a 35-second death timer that are immediately going to be a free Baron, but
sometimes, yeah, it looks like it's even farther along than it is now. It's still taking a minute to go down, but they can't reasonably contest this one. They get a little bit of vision. They will get the timer. That's a small consolation. But EDG, seeing what they want, taking it up to 15,000 in the lead. And there, once again, is very little LGD can do to get back into this. They will try.
I expect them to go by, clear out that big wave bottom, and then shove that all the way. They could create multiple pressure points on the map, probably clear the creating wave that LGD is making in mid lane. But the focus should be bottom.
Yeah, they've got a wave shoving that way, but it's hard to fight, and they keep getting picked off over and over and over again. That's how EDG has been getting them this entire game, and they're not even taking the chance anymore. They also have a mid that they have to worry about that Super Minions will be marching through. There is nothing for EDG to take there, but still, they haven't even been able to split push on Castle effectively. 17 has been so shut down this game that all they can do now is resort to these Fnatic death brushes and see if they can pick off Name as he gets close, dangerously close. They get a hook off. They're going to go in on this. Death marks there. However, teleport coming in from 17. Name, he's going to go down finally, but FCZF is there as well, and they're so confident to take this fight. Wayless is around the back. LGD scattering. The hook is coming in. Shuan trying to buy a little bit of time. It's already a 1-for-1, and Clearlove is going to flash away in order to get himself a little bit more. Wayless running the wrong way to the wrong base. POIL running for his life, and I feel like this can only end one way. Frosker and POIL get the flay back, but how long does he have? Not much. He goes back to Fountain for another 30 seconds, and Koro coming up with a pick onto Wayless in the meanwhile, so they answer back. One kill onto Name with 3 once again.
The terrifying synergy of Zilean with Eve right now. That's not a champion, that's a race car.
Vroom vroom, and they get even more. Waiting for the wave to push in onto this second inhibitor turret. Should be able to pick an inhibitor as well. Dead timers are getting up there. It's still only 26 minutes into this game. EDG, though, they own the base, they own the maps, and Shuan, he's trying to go in, but again, he's going low, he's going down. That's a surrender vote. LGD bowing out of the winner's bracket, and Edward Gaming will move on to round number 2 in style.
An easy 3-0 from EDG, looking like the dominant team that everyone kind of hyped them up to be, returning to true form, especially Clearlove and you on a completely different level than what we've seen in the previous weeks leading up to this event.
Oh, absolutely massive. Edward Gaming pulling out the stops and playing the style that they love best. LGD handing it to him on a silver platter. And, well, that's the differential in teams. You see it right there. Edward Gaming will move on to the next round, and they will face the winner of who you see on your screen there, OMG versus Starhorn Royal Club. That game is, of course, going to be that match. Best of 5 going to be up tomorrow at 1 a.m. Pacific, 1600 China time. Guys, you won't want to miss that one. That will be a very interesting and very heavily determining factor for these two teams.
Top two teams, very different play styles, will likely be explosive.
Absolutely. Especially with the recent stories, OMG versus Starhorn. Starhorn on an uptrend and OMG having a bit of troubles, especially in that bot lane. But that's all for tomorrow, guys. So that's about it for us. You have been watching the LPL Summer Playoffs, and we appreciate you checking us out. So until next time, until tomorrow, in fact, we will see you guys later. GG, and good night.